Hey guys, welcome back to yet another marvelous video. This one is for all the Bond fans out there. It's been a while since No Time to Die wrapped up Daniel Craig's run as 007, and since then, fans have been waiting to see what's next for the world's most famous spy. Well, there's a new era for the James Bond franchise on the way, and we're gonna be talking about that. In this video, we'll look into every detail we know about the new Bond 26 film. Sit back and enjoy. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. When is Bond 26 actually coming out? With Bond 26, we're entering a brand new chapter for the franchise, and a lot of changes are already in motion. For the first time since the 90s, Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson are no longer steering the ship. Amazon MGM Studios now holds creative control, and that shift has stirred up plenty of questions about what the next Bond film will look like, and more importantly, when we can expect it. Following the Amazon deal, it was announced that Amy Pascal and David Heyman would take over as producers. Pascal previously worked with Broccoli during Daniel Craig's early Bond run, and reports suggest they worked well together. Now she and Heyman are officially leading early development on the next movie, operating out of London as of April 2025. It's a big step, and the clearest sign yet that things are finally moving. By June 2025, Amazon confirmed that Denis Villeneuve, yes, the Dune and Blade Runner 2049 director, had signed on to helm the project. He's reportedly agreed to a one-film deal, though like in the Eon era, he will not have the final cut. Bringing someone like Villeneuve on board says a lot about the kind of movie they're aiming to make. There's also a question of where the film will be shot. Pinewood Studios, long associated with Bond, is currently leased to Disney. That means Bond 26 may be headed to Bray Studios instead, a site that Amazon MGM purchased back in 2024. As for a release date, nothing is locked in just yet, but according to a March 2025 report by The Sun, Amazon hopes to fast-track the film for a 2027 release. We're still in the early days, but with a reported budget of around £250 million, Amazon is clearly aiming big. All signs point to a reboot with serious backing, but we'll still be waiting a while before Bond is officially back on screen. Who will be the next James Bond? Contenders and rumors. Now that development is picking up speed, the big question hanging in the air is who's stepping into the tux next. Finding the right actor to follow Daniel Craig is not just about casting a big name, it's about setting the tone for the next decade of Bond stories. The producers have made it clear that the next Bond will probably be somewhere in his 30s. Too young and the character loses the edge and believability. Too old and you lose the long-term appeal. Naturally, the internet has been flooded with names. Idris Elba, Tom Hardy, Henry Cavill, and Michael Fassbender have all been tossed around for years. At one point, it was even reported that Aaron Taylor Johnson had screen tested and had been offered the role, which only gained more traction when he became the face of Omega, the luxury watch brand tied to Bond for decades. But that was then. The headlines haven't stopped. UK tabloids have stirred the pot with stories about Elba or Cillian Murphy, but these rumors rarely go anywhere. Even Jeff Bezos chimed in online when the Amazon deal was announced, asking followers who should play Bond. Though let's be honest, that tweet probably is not sharpening the shortlist. According to a more recent report, Amazon MGM has a new shortlist in mind. 3 names are said to be in the running: Harris Dickinson, Jacob Elordi, and Tom Holland. Elordi, though Australian, would not be the first non-Brit to play the role. George Lazenby famously did it once in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. As for the others, Dickinson's name has floated around before, and Holland, while already a household name from Spider-Man, would mark a major shift, since no past Bond has come into the role with quite that level of mainstream fame. Still, nothing is official. No meetings have taken place yet, and the script is not locked, which makes any casting talk purely speculative for now. It's also worth noting that both Aaron Taylor Johnson and Henry Cavill might be aged out of the role now, at 35 and 42 respectively, given Amazon's preference for someone younger. And while a younger Bond would help with long-term franchise planning, it also raises questions about tone and character depth. There's not a lot riding on the decision, and the studio doesn't seem to be in a rush to lock anyone in. The truth is, until the script is in place and the vision for Bond 26 is clearer, casting is going to remain wide open. All we can do is wait. Will any familiar faces be back? While Bond himself is definitely being recast, it's still up in the air whether any of the supporting cast will return. In the past, actors playing characters like Q, M, and Moneypenny have sometimes carried over into a new Bond era. Judi Dench, for example, continued as M from Pierce Brosnan into the Daniel Craig years. Desmond Llewellyn famously played Q for decades, remaining in the role from the 60s all the way to the late 90s. So there's a bit of a precedent, and at least a few of Craig's co-stars have expressed interest in coming back. Ben Whishaw has said he would be open to returning returning as Q, even though his original contract ended with No Time to Die. Ralph Fiennes, who took over the role of M in Skyfall, has also voiced enthusiasm about staying on. Given how well received Naomi Harris has been as Moneypenny, there's definitely room for her to return too, if the new team decides to keep some continuity. Behind the camera, there are also longtime crew members who have become part of the Bond family. Chris Corbould, known for his practical effects and stunts, has been a staple of the franchise. Daniel Kleinman, who has crafted several of Bond's iconic title sequences, could have been expected to return as well. But now, with someone else calling the shots, it's hard to say how much of that legacy they'll want to carry forward. They might keep some of the creative team for consistency's sake, or decide to start completely fresh. Holding on to familiar faces could make the transition smoother, but until we get official word, everything is just speculation. What can we expect this time? Bond 26 possibilities. Now that Daniel Craig's chapter has officially closed, the big question is what direction Bond 26 will take. This is not the first time the producers have had to hit reset. After Die Another Day, they took the franchise in a grittier, more grounded direction, cutting down on the gadgets and turning up the emotional stakes. Craig's run delivered on that. His Bond was sharper, more serious, and far less flashy than the versions that came before. But with a new era beginning, the team behind Bond now faces another choice. Do they keep that grounded tone, or bring back a bit of the old school flair? One thing is for sure, this will be another soft reboot. It's the tried and true Bond movie. A new actor, a fresh story, and a clean break from what came before. And considering how No Time to Die ended, a reboot makes perfect sense. That film didn't just wrap up Craig's arc, it killed Bond, literally. It was the first time in the franchise's history that 007 died on screen. Still, the end credits promised that James Bond would return. And with Amazon now in control, the question is not if he's coming back, it's how. There are a few ways the filmmakers could handle it. They could ignore the events of No Time to Die altogether and jump into a new adventure with a new Bond. They might decide to reintroduce the character with another origin story, though that might feel a bit soon, given how recently we saw Craig's beginnings in Casino Royale. Another theory that's been floating around for years is the idea that James Bond is a codename, so anyone could step into the role. It's a bit out there, but some fans think this could be the direction the series finally explores. Of course, there's always the possibility that the film will reference Bond's past in some abstract way, through flashbacks, a dream, or even a nod to the events of No Time to Die. But no matter which path they take, it's clear that Bond 26 is a chance to reinvent the character once again. And from everything we've seen so far, it looks like Amazon MGM is taking that challenge seriously. Marvelous verdict. Well, with that, guys, we've come to the end of yet another video. So that's everything we know right now about Bond 26. It's still early days, but with a new team heading things, there's plenty for us to be curious about. But what do you think? Who should take over the role of James Bond? Should the next era be darker, more classic, or something totally new? And should any of Craig's supporting cast return, or is it time for a full reboot? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you enjoyed watching this, do remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more like this. Thanks for watching. Until next time!